Hi, everyone, and welcome back to I Live for This podcast. And this week we have Shontelle Sparkles back as my co-host. Hi, Shontelle.
What's going on?
Well, we're here with the famous and amazingly talented LaLa Ri. Hey, girl.
Hey, gorgeous.
Hello, dolls. How we doing? Thank you.
Oh, skin's always glowing, bitch. We live.
Listen,
Yes.
Come on. Water,
Your skin
hydration.
is sitting, bitch.
Always
Thank you.
Well, I'm so excited to have you. You're such a fun spirit. I got to tour with you a little bit, and you're just such a good time gal. I think that's because we come from around the same place. You know, you Atlanta, Birmingham, like that's only 2 hours apart. So
Yeah.
another
That's Southern hospitality, honey. That good country Southern hospitality at that.
Yeah, exactly. Shontelle didn't get all that. She's from a country town, but she's just
Girl, we're from Florida. All Republicans.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
girl.
Literally.
I'm so sorry for your.
It's the worst.
Well, I'm so excited. We have some great topics today. I want to start with our first topic, which I find really interesting. So they've discovered an Egyptian tomb that contains the first gay love story ever recorded in history that they know of. And it's in a tomb, so this means it must be like a high-profile love story. Like
They said that it was like one of the biggest tombs in Necropolis, too. So like they were saying that like pretty much it's like very respected to the other pharaohs and the leaders. So I'm wondering. They were also saying that the gay love stories and like gay relationships have been found throughout history, and people kind of just brushed it under the rug. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking like now people are starting to find it and be like, oh, okay, it actually is a thing.
Yeah. Well, what I find really interesting is, you know, all these conservatives are always like, you're pushing the gay agenda. You're pushing the gay agenda. Right. I just saw a TikTok of this guy who's obviously conservative, and he was like, you know, I don't have a problem with gay people, but it's just everywhere now. It's in movies.
Anytime you say "but," you have a problem.
Yeah, you have exactly.
they're pushing their agenda. I'm like, so what you're saying is we have a gay person on a TV show, and we have a gay person in a movie, and that's just too much for you to handle.
It's not our fault. We're getting all the roles.
Right, which I don't understand because I grew up watching straight movies all the time. Straight love scenes. And look at me.
And you know what's funny is like when the love scenes would come on, it would always be so awkward for me to watch. But my parents would just watch it, and they would force me to be in the room while it's happening. And I'm sitting here like, this is weird. Exactly. But then, like, you know, God forbid a gay couple is on the TV and they're over there, like, just kissing or holding hands. It's like, oh, my God, turn the TV off. And I'm like, bitch, I was just watching stuff as a kid. People literally having sex. Like, the hell?
Titties everywhere.
This goes to show you, you know, being queer is part of nature. It's like, you know, in the Egyptian times, they didn't have TV. They didn't have social media. So, like, there was no, like, mass agenda pushed or influences of any kind. So this, you know, this just shows that being queer is natural. It's something that happens in nature. And, you know, there's that's also shown in the animal kingdom as well. Like, you know, penguins have been known to be, I mean, like all animals have been known to be gay, but like there's a lot of documents.
And some even change their gender.
Yeah, a lot of animals change their gender. I just found out yesterday, actually, that chickens can change their gender.
Oh wow, that's
really
new to me.
Yeah,
wow. I didn't know that either.
So strange. But so it's very interesting, especially back then, because that's a totally different religion than, you know, what we know as Christianity, because they believe.
Well, it also goes to show too that like straight people having, you know, relations in public versus gay people, it's equally awkward. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like to put one finger on one versus the other, it's like, it's unfair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have y'all seen the show Interview with the Vampire that's on
I keep seeing this. Is it good? Because
Right,
like,
my best friend told me about that.
original.
It is so good. I'm on season 2 now because the season 2 came out a couple of months ago, I think. It is so good.
Have you seen it, LaLa Ri?
No, my best friend keeps telling me about it. She keeps telling me, baby, watch the show, Vampire, Interview with a Vampire. I'm like, girl, I'm going to watch it. I haven't yet to watch it, so I'm going to check it out.
I'm just like, I'm one of those girls where it's like, because is it based off of the movie?
Girl, are you... Shontelle.
Is there, because there's a movie called Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, yes, baby. Yes, there is. But this is...
Okay, but is it a remake? What is it?
This is based off of the Anne Rice novel. It's a book.
Okay, well, listen, honey. We all don't collect books, bitch.
It's a book. I do own this book. I've never read this.
You probably have that book and never read it.
Oh, you're right. I do have the book and never read it. But the fact that I know that it was based off of a book and not just another movie. No, but so it is really good. It's very queer. Like almost all the characters are queer. So just a very cool thing. What I love about AMC, because they have The Walking Dead, they have this. They're very fantasy oriented with a lot of their shows. And the great thing about Anne Rice is she's known for a lot of vampire novels, and they all kind of tie into this vampire world. So after this show, Interview with a Vampire, runs its course, they have so many other novels to pull from to extend that
to like dive into that universe.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I'm
fierce.
really interesting to see, but it is a really good show. You should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. I watch mine on Prime because I don't have AMC Plus.
Okay,
but very, very, very good. Our next topic is, girl.
The tea.
Girl,
I already know what you're about to spill.
This is something. This is what I call shade.
This is about to change the game.
Girl, for the DL men, honey. The DL men.
Period.
So,
or the men that just want to cheat.
Apple iOS 18 has introduced hidden apps. So everyone can now hide any kind of app that they want on their phone. So when they hand their phone over to somebody, whatever they might be embarrassed for, or they just don't want others to see that they have on their phone, can be hidden. Now this is going to change the game for the DL Grindr man.
It's basically like Snapchat.
Yes. Girl. Basically, right. That's why I say it's like Snapchat in a sense. Disappearing acts, honey.
I kind of feel bad for these women who are dating DL men. And now, it's going to be even harder for them to catch them if that's the
Well, I was just talking to a friend too that says that she talks to this guy through an encrypted app where you can't even find. It's I really honestly didn't understand what she was saying, but basically it was hidden to where the conversations cannot be found. So it's crazy that I didn't even know that could happen. So with this stuff being hidden too,
girl, letting the serial killer. That sounds
literally
that's
horrible.
Right.
You go hit somebody's address or a meetup point, and go and get murdered, and
no way to trace it. Right?
No,
literally.
I don't trust that.
Sitting here thinking,
no, ma'am. That's why I liked Craigslist, because in Craigslist it was all emails, honey. That they gonna trace back.
Girl, she's at her age, honey.
You was a Craigslist gal, weren't you?
Oh, girl, I have stories. So, back when I lived in Birmingham, this was years ago, before Grindr was a thing, and one of my very good friends, Billy, we were really we were best friends in Birmingham, and I guess as a queer person, he was using Craigslist too, and we were, you don't always post, you don't post face pictures on Craigslist. This was
no, people are looking just for the goods.
Girl, paragraph, maybe a dick pic, honey. But so we had actually responded to each other's. Well, I think one of us had responded to the other's Craigslist, and then when we finally exchanged photos. We gagged, girl. Gagged. Has that ever happened to y'all? Have y'all ever messaged like on Grindr or Craigslist or something with somebody that you knew but you didn't know at the time?
No,
Oh,
I've
absolutely,
never.
all the time. People
I've
are like,
never.
Shontelle Sparkles? I'm like, block.
Oh, really? Girl, I've had people do that. I had somebody once message me on Grindr. I don't have a face picture on there when they messaged me. It was just a torso picture, and never. I don't remember ever talking to this person before. Girl, the first message is, "Hey, so I know this might be awkward, but do you know anybody looking for dancers?" And I'm like,
Girl.
What kind of dancers?
this is an awkward first question. What do you mean? They're like, well, I know who you are, and I figured you'd know if anybody needs dancers for performers. I'm like, this is not the place to be
The
asking
place.
Right, girl. I'm like, I'm
for
not rock stars.
dancers. Girl, I am not looking for.
You should have been like, well, bitch, you can be my private dancer.
Okay.
No, baby,
Ting, ting,
no,
ting.
baby. They were not my type, sweetie. No, not at all.
Well, I don't believe that because you got a lot of types.
Ooh.
Oh, Shontelle, don't go there. I'll spill another one of your teas, honey.
Girl, we be out in the mall just shopping, and she looks at everything that has 2 legs.
That is not true.
Sometimes 3.
Well, if they have 3 legs, I'm definitely looking.
I'm gonna look with you, girl. Okay, I'm gonna look with you, sister.
I'm like, damn, you got a type, bitch? Because you looking at everything.
Girl, I actually don't really have a type. I do like a very wide range of men. If I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you.
I'm the same way. Like, it's really just about the connection. Like, if I vibe with you, I'd rather be attracted to the personality than just because I gotta sit in the room with you for at least 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So
that's not true.
What?
That's not true, Shontelle. I know of several stories that you didn't spend no 10 minutes in the same room before you got to know them.
I spent at least 10 minutes talking to them on the app.
Maybe, sweetie, but it's all
Don't
business.
tell me we're talking about this gay cruise again.
No, I'm talking about Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh God, stop.
A certain fabric.
Fabric? What are you talking about?
Ooh, tell me more.
With holes.
Oh my God, stop. We are done with this conversation. LaLa Ri's just sitting here like, girl.
I'm just like, I'm in tune, okay? Keep on spilling, honey.
I have a story about one time in Atlanta. So when I first started drag, this is nothing sexual. This is drag related since we're talking about LaLa. So when I first started drag, before I started getting bookings, you do the whole talent show nights and you do the free gigs. Well, Heather Daniels messaged. Heather Daniels used to come to Birmingham from Atlanta to do shows all the time at the Quest Club, which is where I did my competitions. And I was infatuated with her. I mean, like, she was just so iconic. She's known for this one move that she used to do where she would put her hands up and she would jiggle her titties. Yes. She was a vixen, bitch. She was like a goddess. And I don't remember the full story, but I remember having a conversation with her and asking her if I could ever do a show with her in Atlanta. And she was like, yes, actually, you can come this week. Don't remember it wasn't during the weekend. It was during the week. They used to have a club called the Armory, and now it's closed. And so me and my best friend at the time, who were no longer friends because now they are a diehard Republican. They live back in Texas. They don't do drag anymore. They're like they don't have sex. They're so far backwards, even though they're gay. Like it's crazy. Anyway, their drag name was Annika Fox. And so we drove from Birmingham to Atlanta, did the show for free. There was exactly 2 people in the audience.
Sounds about right. That's Atlanta.
And So when we went to leave, I realized I had locked my keys in my trunk.
Oh my God, I feel like you've told me this story before, bitch.
So I had at the time I had a Sunfire. It was a certain kind of car that had it was like bubbly on the back end. And when like the trunk, when the trunk popped up, there's a ledge along the edge where the trunk meets, and there's maybe an inch crack from the trunk to where it met. And I had put my keys on that ledge while I was getting out my suitcases of drag, and didn't realize I did that when I closed the thing and then went into the show.
Shit.
So I could see my keys right there, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to call my grandfather, who does not know that I'm gay. Well, I hadn't came out to them, does not know that I do drag, did not know where I was, because I was 18.
Ooh.
I was 18. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to call him to come all the way to Atlanta while I'm in drag.
Why didn't you call a locksmith?
Because I'm dumb at the time. And I was like,
at the time.
And it was like 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, oh my God. So girl, sitting over to the side, this homeless man, he hears me and Annika and comes over, and we're scared to death. And this homeless man brings us a wire hanger. He finds the key, and it was like a one of those little clickers, and presses the button to unlock the key on my key fob. The thing pops open, and I get my keys. The homeless man gave me a bitch.
Did he ask you $2 afterwards?
Oh, no, that he did not. But you know what? I did give him the $2 that I did make in that show, because that was what I made. And I did give him those $2, honey, and said thank you, and shook his hand. And we got in that car and drove 2.5 hours back home with no money.
Damn,
girl,
and a little bit of exposure.
But girl, a little bit of exposure to what?
Okay, absolutely nothing.
That's why I said little.
But
that was one of my Atlanta stories. I have a couple of Atlanta stories. We might get another Atlanta story.
I would love to hear them, honey. I live.
So the next story is, if you don't know who Coleman Domingo is, he's a famous actor who's queer. He was in one of the Walking Dead series. And he recently made a statement on celebrities who are praised for coming out. He said, what about the people who have been out? So like, the celebrities that have
lived comfortably,
have lived out and proud for a long time. Like when they got into the industry, all these celebrities who come out, they get praised, they get awards, they get acknowledgement, their bravery. But the ones that are queer going into the industry, they're kind of like not. And which poses the question of like, why do we praise people for just being authentically themselves, rather than praising people, like all queer people, for just being brave to be themselves? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I personally never understood it. I mean, being a person who's been out my entire life, growing up getting bashed for being out, it's like so confusing. Which, I mean, I'm glad they're not getting bashed for coming out. But it's like, why is it such a big celebration? Okay, they're being themselves. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Like, why this hoorah? So I personally don't get it, but I mean, kudos to them. Thank you for coming out, spreading the love.
It's always been weird too when people are like, "Oh, I just feel so. I respect you so much for you being yourself," and it's just like, it's weird because it's like, I can't be anything other than myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So when people are like saying that, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is so strange. Like, I vaguely remember when Ellen came out. I'm like, girl, no shocker there.
Right. and usually it's never a shocker when they come out.
Yeah, it's really never really a shocker. But then, there's tons and tons of speculative stories of like queer people that haven't come out, like Shawn Mendes. Obviously,
I wish he would come out.
Girl, I wish he would come somewhere.
Literally.
Hello.
Hello.
But all this P Diddy stuff, even though it's like very unfortunate, all of those stories, but like clearly he's on the queer spectrum if these are true. What are the have y'all heard of like Hugh Jackman has like a boyfriend, like he's getting a divorce and he has like a boyfriend?
Wait, are you talking about Wolverine?
Wolverine, bitch.
Oh, that's sickening. I never heard of it. That's sickening, honey, bitch. Come on.
But this is all speculation. This is all speculation.
Right.
But
I mean,
apparently he has a boyfriend.
I wonder if he's like a twink or if he's like the same as him.
I think like the guy is top. I think the guy's much younger. I don't know. Not probably like preppy. I think the guy's preppy, kind of.
I would love to see that.
Okay.
Girl, hello. You remember Ricky Martin came out like, so it's just strange. Like, why can't we just let people
let it be?
Themselves?
Let it be. Yeah.
We talked about this in a previous podcast of the guy who was on Glee and was told not to come out; it would hurt his career. And the thing is like. Most of these people, like you said, when they come out, we know. We know, mm-hmm. Susan. We know.
Literally.
Yeah.
Mary, you are gay.
Right.
It's just very weird. I want to move on to I haven't read this. This is Am I the Asshole story. Are you familiar with those, LaLa Ri?
No.
It's like stories of like people asking the internet, are they the asshole for such and such and such and such. So
no, I have seen those before. I never knew the title.
Yeah. Usually they're like on Reddit. I see a lot of them on TikTok. But luckily for me, Tracy finds all of these articles and is such a lovely Tracy. If for those listeners out there, is our podcast manager, does such a fantastic job helping facilitate all of this. So I'm going to read this short story and then we're going to decide if this person is an asshole or not. I haven't read the story, so I don't know what it is about. Okay. So, am I the asshole for abandoning my parents at an island in the Caribbean so I could get back to our cruise in time? All automatically right there? No. But let's read. I graduated from high school back in December. As a gift, my parents got me a cruise. It was also for my 18th birthday. It was also a family vacation. We usually stay in an all-inclusive resort, but I have always wanted to go on a cruise. I told my parents it was different and that if we went on an excursion, we have to follow the schedule no matter what. Well, it was Yeah. Well, it was a week-long cruise. This sounds like you, Shontelle, with your parents.
Girl.
Well, it was a week-long cruise, and they would not head back to the ship when it was time to go. They were busy shopping and bargaining with the locals. I finally said that I was heading back to the ship. My mom waved me off. They missed the departure by a lot, like 45 minutes. They got a hold of me through WhatsApp. They wanted to know why I didn't get the boat to wait for them. I wanted to scream that they were not going to inconvenience 4,000 people because 2 could not understand what a schedule was. They ended up having to fly to the next port from there, and it was expensive. They are pissed at me for leaving them behind. I don't know what I was supposed to do. They literally told me that they were not coming. I wish I had never asked for this. Meaning the cruise. They are making me miserable because I left without them. Are they the asshole? No, I don't think so.
No.
Not at all. I mean, because obviously it's a schedule. I mean, I've never done a cruise before, but I'm pretty sure if it tells me to be back at a certain time, I'm going to be back at a certain time. You wave me goodbye. You wanted to shop. Okay, girl. So I'm going to get on this boat. You're going to figure it out. And that's just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't play. The last time me and Trin did a cruise years ago, and we were told, normally you get to the airport about an hour early. Mm-hmm. But with cruises, normally I think you got to be there 2 hours early.
Yeah, okay.
We were there like a little bit less than 2 hours because we would always get to the airport pretty early, and they told us no because the cruise and stuff needed time to like get their shit together. So I personally feel like yes, the parents are the assholes,
right,
and self-centered
Yeah.
And like you said, it really reminds me so much of my parents, and I hate to be that person to like talk about their parents in this kind of way, but I just had this sort of issue with them because we went on vacation, ironically, this past week. It was just a shit show. And so cruises definitely have a strict schedule. You know what I'm saying? So like if the parents are sitting there saying, oh, you know, da, 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 and you got to leave, trust me, you don't want to be stranded. Did they say where she was staying or where the person was staying?
They didn't say where this, I don't think this said where it was. Let me look. I don't think it said where it was.
Because you really don't want to be on some random island.
Yeah,
you
know
what I mean?
Some island, in the Caribbean. But so the thing with cruises is they have to make their time because it's once they deboard the entire cruise, another 4,000 people get on, and they, it's a cycle, so they can't be late, especially for two people. I just saw this a story like this. I say this a lot on this podcast. TikTok. I'm obsessed with TikTok. So there was a story of this whole boat of people, like not a cruise size, but like, I don't know, 50 people who were late getting back to the ship. But it ended up not being their fault. It was an excursion that got stuck in traffic getting back to the port. Mm-hmm. And it was a Disney cruise, and they all bought the excursion through the cruise. So the cruise ship actually did wait on them because it was the cruise's responsibility.
Yeah, see, that's a different story.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But when you're one of your party is telling you, hey, we got to go. We're going to be late. Yeah. And you tell them, no, I'm not leaving. Then yes, it's your fault. And so, no.
I honestly would probably, it depends on how my parents are. But most of the time, like my parents are just very self-centered, narcissists and all that stuff. But if my parents were like good people, I would feel so bad leaving them. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't want to be left on that island.
Right. Like, girl, I don't want to be.
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Girl, I've been on several, you've been on some too, Caribbean cruises and then did excursions. Girl, leave me, honey. I have fun. I like cruises. I like cruises. Have you ever been on a cruise, LaLa?
No, I've never been on a cruise before.
You need to do one.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying that.
Do you like that kind of thing, or you're scared of boats or anything?
No, I love the water actually. So yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it.
My boyfriend hates cruises because he's not scared of the boat per se, but like the motion,
the rocking, the motion.
Yeah, that gets me right together. Last time I did a fishing trip, and I had to sit next to the bait bucket.
Oh no!
And bitch, that boat was going back and forth. And I've learned that if I go on a cruise or like a boat in the morning, I can't eat like a heavy breakfast. And I ate eggs that morning. And girl, I was sitting next to the bait and I just puked all over the place, like for 30, 45 minutes straight. So, long story short, take Dramamine and you will be good to go.
Okay, sickening. I've been on boats before and had any issues, so I've just never done a cruise.
Yeah.
I think that cruises they're not that scary until you're like right on the edge and you're looking over and you're seeing, like, especially if you go to the front of the boat, you can see how fast it's going. And then when you're looking at how big the boat is and you're seeing how vast the ocean is, it can be very scary. And then you see all these stories of like people jumping off or falling off, just disappearing. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of people disappearing off of a boat. Like nobody knows what happened to this person, and the cruise will sweep it under the rug, bitch.
Yep. It's the current will just suck you right under. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying the cruise people will like do an internal investigation that's not really an investigation and like not press into what happened to them. Oh yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah. There's Madeline something. She was a little girl. This was years and years and years and years and years ago. Her parents, I think they were, maybe I'm mixing up stories, but there was a kid with their parents that got off for an excursion, and the kid got kidnapped or something, and that never seen before, never seen again.
Oh my
Oh
god.
And
wow.
the parent,
That's crazy.
yeah, the parents had to stay behind and do an investigation, and girl never found. Scary.
That's
Wow.
terrible.
Yeah.
Scary. Yeah. There's another Am I the Asshole? This is also a quick story. My boyfriend thinks I'm high maintenance for using more than 3 products. Okay, so here's the story.
Products. Okay.
My boyfriend and I are going on a long weekend trip coming up, and this led into a discussion about whether or not I am considered high maintenance. While packing, he asked why I couldn't just use the shampoo conditioner at the hotel, and I told him, 1, I don't trust them after hearing stories of what people do to those, and 2, my hair is long and prone to horrible tangles, especially humidity. We are headed to the south for 4 days. When asked what products I use, I told him that I typically use shampoo, conditioner, and a leave-in conditioner that works as a detangler and heat protectant all in one. He then mentioned my face products as well, and I told him that I use makeup remover products, face wash, and a moisturizer. He said using more than 3 products means I'm high maintenance, which I hardly think is fair. For context, he uses a 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash for everything. When we travel,
That's not cute.
That's not cute at all. I don't trust him at all. A 3-in-1.
Literally.
When we travel, he uses what at the hotel, so I can see how comparatively he might think that I'm high maintenance. But as someone who has lived with women my whole life, I have always found myself on less high maintenance side. I tried really hard to keep my lifestyle budget friendly, not too expensive. But I figured I would ask you all, am I high maintenance? So listening to these things, I don't think a shampoo and a conditioner and a heat protectant is high maintenance.
Even like basic face moisturizers and stuff
Girl,
like that.
they didn't even use an eye cream, a serum. Girl, a sunblock. Girl, I be using
use
a
like 8
lot.
products on my face.
First off, if they're traveling together too, like you already know that they've been together long enough.
Oh yes.
So he already knew this shit.
Bitch,
Yeah.
and
So for him,
why would you even ask this to the world with a man who uses a 3-in-1 shampoo,
3-in-1,
body wash,
bitch.
conditioner, and
red
clearly
flag.
this man does not use any moisturizer. I have to tell my boyfriend I bought him multiple moisturizers because he gets really dry around his nose and he gets flaky, and I have to remind him to put on your moisturizer, and he sometimes refuses. So I can imagine if this man is like my boyfriend, girl, don't be telling me I'm high maintenance when I'm doing the bare minimum. You ain't even doing nothing.
Literally.
Exactly.
You are no maintenance.
No maintenance.
So he's
okay?
definitely the asshole because like that's
Yeah.
just basic travel things. You know what I mean?
LaLa, you have such great skin. Tell us your skincare regimen. What do you do?
Yeah, he would hate me because I use at least 7 products morning and night. So I do a double cleanse. Certain days I do
Wait, how do I?
exfoliating.
A double cleanse. I never heard of a double cleanse. Why do you do a double cleanse?
I mean, because you have to get all that dirt and the makeup and all that the debris and stuff out of your face. So I do a double cleanse. Yeah.
Okay.
With the same face wash or a different?
Well, you can use. I use a different face wash. So I use like a mild face wash first, and then like a more, I guess, not harsh, but a more
exfoliating.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, no, actually, before I even exfoliate, I do a double cleanse. Then I exfoliate.
Okay, continue. I just helping up. Go ahead.
Right. So after exfoliation, I use oh my god, I use ice. I ice my face. I ice my face, the icer. I use this Tin Skin for like ingrown hairs, and then I use like a serum, like a vitamin C serum. And then I use like a what you call it, the little scraping thing, the ghost. What is it called? The little.
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. It's supposed to like pull your skin up.
Thing. I use that, and then no, it doesn't. It's really cunt, honey, and soft to the touch. You know, I mean, you can dig in there a little hard, but you know, it's good. Then I use a moisturizer, and I'm in the eye cream, and then a sunscreen.
Oh, work. Yeah, okay, you are high.
She's like triple
a
high
rose water
maintenance.
mist as well. A
Oh
rose
yes,
water.
bitch. You are high maintenance, sweetie. You
Triple.
are the girl. You are the girl.
Yeah,
Are you
people hate me.
always people are waiting on when you're going out
Yeah,
to the club? Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm definitely the
She heard
hour.
her talking about her products that she uses. She was like, "That's all."
Right. I was like, girl, that's it, girl. 3.
You basic.
Okay.
Years. I live. I have
Yeah.
a ton of skincare. I'll always be buying skincare, and I do use it. I'm not religious with like my routine, but I would be using if I have it in there. I'll just be dipping and dabbing and all that stuff. I'll be doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And and I still look like this. So, bitch, she's
trying to mix some kind of concoction in the bathroom.
Go get
Make some kind of potion.
Honey. She's gonna go.
honey.
I was laying on the couch earlier with my head on a pillow, and all the skin was here, and I was like feeling it. I was like, ooh.
You're like, this needs to go.
I was like, okay, they could probably pull and cut this off. And yes, girl, I'm gonna go get it just surgically done, and then
Yes, God.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
God.
What about you, Shontelle? Do you use skincare?
Yeah, I do just basic stuff like a face wash, moisturizer, and then like a little eye serum. Nothing crazy.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you're not my high maintenance. What about Ethan, your partner?
Girl, he don't do nothing.
Oh, wow.
He probably moisturizes with what I have. That's it. But if I didn't have it, who knows what he'd be using.
Oh, word. Okay.
As long as he's not using lotion for moisturizer, then we're good. Because some people that use lotion for moisturizer, I'm like, girl, hold on now.
Oh, see, that's another thing. So in my car, I have this Victoria's Secret or Bath and Body Works lotion. That's like it's a lotion. It's not a moisture. It's a lotion.
Yeah.
Like that. Because sometimes I'll be wearing shorts and my knees be ashy, and I'm like, I have to like have something on my legs because I look gross if I don't.
Right.
And so the other day we were in the car, and I told my boyfriend, I'm like, you are really dry on your face. He's like, don't you have that moisturizer in here? I'm like, you could use that, and surely enough, he sure did. He sure did put that
and
that
I'm sure it's scented. Oh my
lotion.
God.
And girl, and the lotion had been sitting in my car in this Florida heat, so it was like water, girl. And he still put it on his face. I was like, oh my God, no.
Damn.
I would still put that on my legs, but not my face.
Not the face. No, ma'am.
Not the face, sweetie. Not the face. All right, we're gonna move on to our next. Let me get back to my where is this at? Okay, so our next segment is called Back in the Day Gay. And so we ask our guest, when was the first time that you knew that you were queer? Like, tell us the story of like, maybe you didn't know the word queer or gay, but like you were like, oh, I'm attracted to the same sex, or I am attracted to like femininity, or tell us that story. What was the realization of LaLa?
Yeah. So I think I had to be around the age of maybe 7 or 8, elementary school, because we were on the playground. And I remember having this conversation with this little girl. I think her name was Kathy. Hey, Kathy, if you got the girl. And she was right. She was telling me how much she enjoyed this boy. Like she had a crush on this other boy that was across the playground or whatever. And I was like, listen to her. And I was saying to myself, I didn't say this to her. I was saying to her, I was like, you know what? I think I got a crush on him too, girl. I think I like him too, girl. But I didn't know what queer was or gay at the time. So I thought at that time I was supposed to be a girl, because I was like, I like the same thing that she likes.
Yeah.
So, but that was my first interaction in knowing or having a queer experience. But I thought I was supposed to be a girl because I was like a boy. I didn't know that you could be gay boy.
Interesting.
How did she act when you told her?
No, I didn't tell her. I was thinking to myself then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you how is your family with you being queer?
Okay, no, they love it. I think it took them some time up until, my mother, she has always been around gay men in her entire life, so it was easy for her. My father, you know how the fathers are. They feel like they didn't do their job. They didn't raise the man that they wanted me to be or whatever, that he wanted me to be. I'm like, well, you raised me to be a man. I'm still a man. I'm just a gay man, with a little more attitude, honey.
Yeah.
But it took him some it took him some time. I think up until the age I was like 16 for him to like fully accept it. And I also feel like because he's not my biological father, he raised another man's son, so he felt like he didn't do his job because he already took the initiative to raise someone's son. And for him to turn out to be gay, it's like, okay, well, I didn't do my job at all. And I was like, well, you did a great job raising me, but me being gay had nothing to do with what you instilled in me as a person, as a man. But
Yeah.
he's cool with it now. Like, he's one of my biggest fans. He's one of LaLa Ri's biggest fans. He goes to bat for me now.
Oh, good. That's great.
Love that.
I maybe I've talked about this on here before, but I never came out to my grandfather. So I was outed at 16 to almost my entire family, including my grandmother. Well, no, I was forced to come out to my grandmother. So I came out to my grandmother, and I know that she probably talked to my grandfather about it, and he did confront me once and asked me if I was gay. But he was so hostile with the way that he approached me about it. I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah, it makes you scared.
Yeah, and so as soon as I turned 18, so my grandmother had passed when I turned 18. As soon as she passed, a couple of months after that, I moved out of where I was living with my grandfather, and I went to Birmingham. And I think maybe we kind of like weren't as close after that. Not that we lost contact, but he got in a real big depression about my grandmother, and like just totally went a total opposite direction. Like, he was super, super responsible when he was married to her, and then after she died, it's like he died because he like started gambling all of his money away, and it was really sad. And so I never officially had that conversation with him. So very, very strange. I didn't have that kind of support growing up from my parents at all.
Yeah.
Shontelle, your parents are kind of are accepting of you being gay. They're just.
I feel like it's one of them things where it's like, we accept you because you're our son, and we love you, but like, they don't have any other gay friends, or like, they don't go out of their way to like watch gay things. They don't watch Drag Race.
They accept you. They don't support you.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like they say that they support. They're like, we support you. I'm like, what do you do to support me? Because like, you don't really know anything that's going on with my life. You know what I'm saying? It's almost just like the automatic like thing that you want to say just to like feel good.
Yeah,
I guess about themselves. I don't know.
Yeah,
it
must be even more strange now because of all the politics as of recent, like in the last 15 years.
Oh, it's gotten so much worse
because they're diehard Trump supporters, right?
Yeah, like and it's weird because like growing up, they always say like racism is taught and like religion is taught and all these things. So like growing up, my parents would always watch like Fox News. They would always like say little like sly remarks about like different races and stuff like that. And like, it didn't really click with me because like I was always around it. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up in a really small town. And then like growing up and like officially getting out and like living on my own and like forming my own opinions in life and learning stuff, I look back and I'm like, they've been this way forever. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And now that like Trump has gotten into office and then now he's out and like everything has been more openly spoken about, because Trump has talked openly about things and made it like it's okay for people to express bad things that they're thinking, because like back in the day people would always think these things, but they would never say them. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew it wasn't okay. But since he got in office and he would publicly just talk about this stuff, I feel like it's made it worse for them because now they say things and it's like
openly and they're too comfortable.
Yeah, it's like it's not okay. Like I just went to on vacation with them because we had just tried to open up the door to try to get close again. And I went to dinner with them, and we had to do because the whole point of the trip was for them to get scuba diving, their scuba diving license, like reinstated. And so part of the course was when you go underwater, you have to have a partner, because God forbid if you start losing air or if you get lost, you know what I mean? You always have a partner to look for, help you.
Yeah.
Well, part of the course was for them to share their, I think it's called the BCD. The BCD is the thing that you put on, but the air thing that you breathe into. Part of the course was when you're underwater, you have to share each other's thing to practice, like, hey, I'm running out of air, let me use yours. Well, when we sat at dinner, his first thing that my parents said was, yeah, we did the class, but we didn't finish it. And one of the things that really made me feel uncomfortable was my partner was Mexican, and I had to share an air tube with her. And I was like, I looked at my boyfriend Ethan, and we were kind of just like, we're taken back, because first off, we're like, we thought you were thought you've changed, and you were going to try to like build this relationship and grow, and like, you know what obviously isn't okay to say, but you're still saying this stuff, so clearly you haven't changed. So I corrected him, and I was like, first off, because he said, I don't have a problem that she's Mexican, but that's why I said, when you say but, you have an issue.
And racists always say that. They always say that.
Always do.
Yeah. And so he said that, and I was like, well, first off, I tried to bite my tongue because I didn't want to fight at the table because it was my boyfriend's birthday.
Yeah.
And then I corrected him. I said, well, you do realize that if you drown underwater, she's the person that's going to help you.
Yeah.
So regardless of skin tone, race, ethnicity, whatever, like, that person is going to help you. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, I just really just, you know, and I was just like, I just kind of like rolled my eyes and kind of just realized right there and then that this was not going to be a good trip. You know what I'm saying? And it ended up not ending good at the end anyways. So long story short, we're not talking anymore right now. So I cut them off again. But yeah, it's just crazy that people think it's okay to say them things. You know what I'm saying? It's not healthy and it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure, LaLa, growing up in the South, you've experienced tons of stuff like that. You know, what's so strange, I've said this story a lot, and this is white privilege. Growing up in the South, I grew up in a really small town. We didn't even have a red light. That's how country this town is.
Yeah.
There were obviously, my school was very integrated with tons of Black people, Mexican, white. We had some Asian people too. Our high school principal, he was a Black man. He was a volleyball coach. Everybody loved him because he was like the best volleyball coach. So in my mind, because my grandparents didn't outwardly say racist things, like those words that you would say are racist. So in my mind, I didn't really experience third party racism, like what I didn't experience other people being racist to that I saw. Now looking back on it, I can identify microaggressions, and that's racism. But at the time, I just didn't know like racism was as big as it. You know, I was like, oh, that's the past. You know,
that's kind of how I felt growing up. I didn't realize like it was that crazy.
And
but it's
now,
privilege.
Now, like being an adult and being out in the real world and hearing stories and being able to identify microaggressions and now it's not microaggressions anymore. Now it's people saying full on things. I mean, y'all saw that story of the girl who on TikTok she said the N word, not the hard R, but still, girl, you're a Caucasian woman and should not be saying that word. And if you looked at her story, like she was saying stuff about Black people left and right.
Yeah, she didn't care at all.
At all. And
it's so crazy because she worked for a company that was owned by a Black woman. I mean, she's fired now, but it was so wild.
But we're in a place in the world, and it's not just America. I mean, it's like there are conservative people being elected into office all over the world. We're in a very conservative wave across the world right now, which makes me very terrified for queer people, women, people of color, any kind of minority.
I was going to say any kind of minority.
Yeah, any kind of minority. Right now, it's very scary. And for people to be so comfortable to say these things, it's wild to me.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And that's why I said that. I was like, now that he's gotten into office, I feel like he's made it seem like it's normal to speak that way, and it's not.
Yeah, it's wild, and I feel like we have a lot to lose this coming election if Trump gets back into office. And I don't like Biden. I hate Trump obviously way more, but I do not like Biden. I mean, he's done some egregious things. All this stuff that he's helped with Israel, I can't. And but policy wise, he's not as bad as Trump. I mean,
at least he's not trying to go for the minorities. Like,
well, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. He's helping Israel with a genocide. I mean, that's...
Well, I meant like gays right now. You know what I mean? It's the best that we have right now.
It just makes me so upset. But speaking of, let's go to the last segment of the podcast, which is I Call Shade. Shontelle, you just spoke on your story, which was your parents.
Well, yeah, but I didn't give you the full story, and I think I'm going to save that one for next week.
For next week,
because right now I have one story, but
go ahead. Tell us your I Call Shade moment of the week.
So I went on vacation this week, and we don't have really many like local friends that we could call to like watch our puppies, and we just got 2 new puppies. They're Australian Shepherds, very high maintenance dogs, like people Velcro dogs. So like they have to constantly be with somebody and like be watched. And they're puppies, so they're gonna need to go out multiple times. So we hired this lady from Rover because a couple people had mentioned that. So we looked it up, and we had this first girl come, and she was like in college. You could tell that she was very like shy, nervous. Came in and was just kind of like looking at the dogs, didn't really try to pet them. And I told Ethan, I said, I don't want her watching the dogs because like, first off, they're not leash trained. And so if she takes them out in the backyard, God forbid one of them runs off, she strikes me as someone that's not going to like grab the situation by the balls and be like, I need to fix this or figure it out. She stroked me as somebody like that would freak out and be like, oh my God, and just call and be like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So we did this second lady. She was an older woman, came in, immediately clicked with the dogs, her and her husband. Like, super, super sweet. We trusted her. I was like, okay, good. So she watched the dogs, very timely. Came in, watched the puppies, walked them like at least 4 times a day. Well, we gave her, because when the people come in to watch the dogs, you have to give them specific instructions. And so we did. Well, she didn't follow those instructions because when she finished watching the puppies and we came home, there was giant shit stains all over the hardwood floors. Oh. And we have light wood floors, so you can see it. Like, you can see any type of dirt. There was shit stains on the floor. There was poop on the... we have this, like, little couchy, like, chair thing. It's like a shawl, whatever you call it. Poop all over that. Poop on the giant couch that we have. And then there was pee stains all over the pillows. And she had walked them that morning before we got home from the airport. And so when we came home and we looked, the house was just a mess. And I was like, first off, if you're watching these puppies, part of your like responsibility is to like clean up after the puppies. You know what I mean? And like when we looked at the poop and everything, the poop was dried up. Like, honey, she was like 3 days old poop. Yeah. So for me, it just looked like poop that had been sat, and she didn't care to like clean it up. And it's like there was poop stains on the floor. So for me, it was just careless behavior. You could tell she just didn't care about the hygiene of the house or like the puppies. And so, and she left our fucking bedroom door open. And we have all white bed sheets and like a bed spread and stuff. And the puppies crawled all over the white bed spread or whatever. And it was just like dirt everywhere. So can you imagine coming home from like a week vacation with your shitty parents and then also hanging out with my boyfriend's parents that like to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we get home to that where we can't even lay in bed? I was beyond pissed because we had to spend that whole day cleaning and doing laundry and stuff. So bitch, I call shade.
Yeah, that is a really
shady moves.
Fuck you, Samantha.
Yeah. Samantha, we hate you.
Okay, girl.
Yes. So fuck you.
Well, my I call shade moment of the week is I'm calling shade on myself. So, last week I went to WeHo Pride, and I went out with friends to the Pride Park thing where they have like the outside stage and all of the like the performers and stuff. Well, the finale performer is Kylie Minogue.
Ooh.
Never seen her perform. So excited. You know, I'm not a heavy drinker, so I had 5 milligrams of an edible. That's not a lot. And normally I'm totally fine. And I've had these same exact gummies, the same exact edible.
Oh God.
That are prepackaged. They're not like made at home. They're like from a legit store. And so we're there, we're having a good time. I am feeling my edible just enough, like it feels, you know, I'm having fun. And so my friends are like, let's get in the middle of the crowd so we can get a better view. So we like squeeze, because there's thousands of gays there, okay? And everybody is like,
well, they're there for Miss Kylie, sweet
girl. And we're squeezing in, we squeeze, we get in the middle of the crowd, like where there's thousands of people around us, so we could see Kylie. And we are 3 songs in, bitch. My edible kicks in even more. And I start to have sweats. I'm like, and like, you're so close to the stage, the vibration of the bass, you can feel it right here. And so it's like beating you up. You can hear it, you can feel it in your throat. I'm like, I'm having sweats. I'm feeling like I'm being beaten up, girl. I'm like feeling like I'm overwhelmed with all the people around me. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. Like, I'm 3 songs in, I gotta get out of here. So I look over at my friend, I'm like, oh, yeah, I get it. I'm like, they're like, okay. So they grab me. I have such good friends. They were like, we're getting you out of here. They grab me and they pull me through the crowd and get me out of there, away from the vibration and the heat of all the people. I sit down and it's a little cooler, and immediately I feel much better. But I'm like, girl, I gotta go. I like this. I call shade. I shaded myself, bitch. I got myself together with that edible in the middle of Kylie Minogue.
Were they normal edibles that you always get, or was it new ones?
I've had these before. I think what it was is just a sensory overload. Like you're feeling the edible, it's hot, and that vibration, that was probably what really did it, is because you feel it like right here. And like if you do this to yourself.
I already know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like do it like not where you're hurting yourself, but like if you imagine that with a bunch of heat and you're on an edible. It's just sensory overload.
See, that's why I don't do edibles. I had a horrible edible experience. I'm gonna tell my shade moment, but I had a horrible edible experience where I thought I was hanging upside down from my balcony for 2 hours.
Oh my God.
For 2 hours?
I felt like I was for 2 hours. I went so insane. I have never done an edible since then. But my shade moment, it's a dog story as well with my parents. So last year, a few years ago, I had a Yorkie poo named Chanel. Hey, Chanel, girl, if you're out there watching. So I had a Yorkie poo, and last year was All-Star, so I run the All-Star. So, during All-Star season, you're traveling a lot or whatever. So I needed somebody to watch my dog, because I was not going to put my dog in a doggy hotel. I've heard the horror stories about the doggy hotels here in Atlanta, so I didn't want to trust it. Chance it. So I had my parents watching Chanel, while I was on the road. Well, it got to a point where I was traveling too much for my parents, and they wanted to start traveling themselves for vacations, and they couldn't watch Chanel anymore for me. I was like, oh my God, okay, let me try to figure this out. Like, I don't want to put her in a doggy hotel. A lot of my friends, they work, they have their own issues or whatever the case may be. So I didn't really want to ask them. So I end up, my best friend, his mother's dog ended up passing away. And she wanted a replacement dog or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to give Chanel away, but I don't want, her to be somewhere where I don't know where she's at. I'm worried on the road or whatever. And I know, my best friend's mother, I can go over there or whatever. So I end up giving Chanel to my best friend's mother. Okay, so, months go by, blah, blah, blah. I'm still traveling. I get a call from my mother. She's come like, first of all, they never went traveling. They never traveled anywhere in these months. They said they were going somewhere. They never traveled anywhere. And then she gonna call me. She called me a few months later and say, where did you get Chanel from? I was like, from this pet store here in Atlanta. She's like, oh, because I would like to go up there to find me a dog because I'm lonely.
Oh no.
I was like, Miss Thing, I just literally had my dog over there with you, and you had an issue with my dog being there because you wanted to travel and live your life, which you did not do. Now, all of a sudden, you're lonely at home because, like, my daddy's working, so you want to go get a dog, and now I done gave my dog away.
Poor baby is out in the world somewhere where you don't know what it is.
In the world. Hey, now I was like, okay, you shady little lady. So, yeah, that's my little shade moment of my parents.
I also have another shady moment. I've got to go take my dogs to go get their nails clipped because my Frenchies, they love to jump up. Like, what they do is, I don't know if you see Frenchies, but they all do this. Yeah. They get on their hind legs and they do this thing where they, like, their paws are like this, and they spread their feet, their fingers, their toes like this, and they'll do that. They'll hop around, and then when they get to your leg, they just like do this. And I am just clawed. Literally, I have scars all over my body right now. This morning, I went to go let out my dogs, and I opened their crate. And as soon as my most hyper Frenchie bolts out and immediately just like claws me like Wolverine, bitch. Let me look. Look at this. Look at that. Girl. Come on. I have that all over my legs. All over my, I'm like, y'all are evil. Y'all, they bully me. They're,
Why don't you trim their nails yourself?
Because I have a bad experience once where I was trimming one of my dog's nails and I cut it because you can't, a lot of their nails are not clear, so you can't see the clear.
Yeah, it's really hard if their nails aren't clear.
Yeah, and I trimmed it too close to the quick, and it bled and it bled and it bled, and she yelped, and I couldn't, and it would not stop bleeding. I had to take her to the emergency vet because I was worried she's gonna bleed to death because I cut the quick, and so I just don't do that anymore. I'm too scared to, but I need to take them to the vet and get there. But yes, girl, they bully me. They're so mean to me.
I love French.
Yeah, I have to trim my dog's nails too.
They're crazy. Well, I've had so much fun on this fun podcast. Thank you so much, LaLa. Is there anything that's happening that you want to plug? What's going on in your world? Do you want to plug any shows or projects coming out?
Yes. Oh, I'm not sure when it's going to be released, but next month you will see me on TV again, which I'm excited about on the Peacock Network, doing the Olympics. So watch out for that. I'm super excited about that. Of course, I'll be at DragCon. I will be filming a live taping of Hey Queen at DragCon, which I'm super excited about. We have the Love Ball DragCon weekend with me, Shay, Monet, Jada Essence Hall. Who else is it? It's somebody else. Oh my God. I don't know right now, but it's all of us. And yeah, it's still traveling and doing my thing.
We love that. Awesome. We love you. You're such a great, fun light. I loved you on your original season, but loved you even more on All Stars because I was rooting for you because you were just so good. You were so you were such a breath of fresh air, and I hope to see you again on another season.
Anytime you call, I answer.
Let me tell you what, I have been on 3 seasons, and I would do another one. Just World of Wonder, if you're listening, I will do another one. It's just got to be a non-elimination season because I'm gonna be spending a lot of money on my looks and I want all of them seen. So
that part.
put me on the next charity one. I would love to do a charity season.
Yes, yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, anytime they would call me, I would do. I love being on TV. I love being in front of the camera, acting a fool. So, and Drag Race is such a fun experience to do. So, I love it.
Yeah, well, that's yours. I love that. Well, thank y'all both so much, and I will see you both around. I'll see you at DragCon, Shontelle. I'll see you at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Until next time, the next episode.
And I'll see you around, LaLa.
Thank you,
See
guys.
you, baby. Have a good one, y'all. Thank you.